Avoidants always run from connection until you do this. Now, before I reveal what this is to you, the thing that I want you to understand is that the more that you react, the more it's going to make them feel safe about pulling away from you, which I know doesn't make any sense because you would think if you have some type of reaction, it's going to show that you genuinely care and want to work through it, and you're actually taking the steps towards that. But to the avoidant, this just gives them more ammunition to pull away from you because they feel like you are proving their point in the sense that you are getting too close. You're making them feel vulnerable or trying to deal with conflicts that they just simply don't want to deal with. And this can be so frustrating and confusing to you because you just are doing what you would typically do in a normal, healthy relationship, right? This is what happens. But when it comes to an avoidant, they look at it as the complete opposite. And that's why it's so important for you to not react, which is a hard thing for you to do because you do want to try to make things work because you care about them and you want the relationship to be successful because you know that when this avoidant attachment style isn't activated, you guys are having a healthy relationship that you would want to be in. But this avoidant attachment style just keeps running rampant in the relationship, which is not allowing you guys to have the relationship that you want and is causing a lot of problems here. So I hope you're understanding that point of it, and I know it might not be easy for you to still understand it, but this is what is essentially going on when that happens, which segues perfectly into what stops them from running away from you. And that is the first thing is to stop running after them. Typically, what has been going on whenever this avoidant has pulled away is that you have been trying to reach out to them in some way or some form to try to see what's going on and to rectify this because you know deep down they're not going to do this, right? Every single time that things have worked themselves out after them pulling away from you is always you taking the first step into trying to see what's going on and trying to work through this. And they're the ones that either will engage in it or they'll push away even further, and then you have to go through this whole thing again, and it becomes this whole ordeal that I know you've probably have seen so many different times. But this is essentially why you have to stop running after them, because one, it's most likely going to cause them to push away even further from you, and two, it is so exhausting to have to keep doing this every single time, right? I give you so much props for putting up with this for as long as you have right now, because it takes so much patience and understanding and love and commitment to go through this time in and time again and still be able to come out of it with a positive attitude and trying to make it work and, still committed to this person, right? But the thing that you have to understand is that an avoidant is going to respond better when you don't do anything, right? When you just essentially allow them to continue to do this and you're not chasing after them, because that is where they start to feel a little bit secure and they feel like you're not pushing too much. And then there's a switch to where they're not in this fight or flight mode of being an avoidant and they actually start to want to pursue you for once, which is a game changer, right? Because you've been the one doing this for so long. But this isn't the only thing that you want to do there. It needs to be paired with the second thing, and that is your calm detachment becomes their wake-up call. What this essentially looks like is that you're not having an emotional response to them either coming back or pushing away from you, right? You are just simply saying, all right, cool. You're having that energy that you're not bothering. It's kind of like you're mirroring what they do to you and just being like, okay, fine. You want to do this? You want to push away? You want to feel this way? Cool. Do what you want to do. I'll be here doing my own thing and I'm fine, essentially. And even though you might be deep down bothered by this and you're a little bit scared of losing them, it's important that you stick to this because you again are sending the signal to this person that you're no longer going to keep putting up with this. This is not something that you want to keep experiencing through the relationship, right? You want to move past this in some way or some form so that you guys can be able to get closer and have the relationship that you want, but they are the ones that are continuously allowing this avoidant attachment style to be a wedge between that and keep you guys from progressing forward. So by you essentially doing this, you're not only putting the ball in their court, but you're holding them accountable for this, right? There's no excuse and way that they can spin this to make it seem like you're the problem as to why they're pulling away at this point, because you're honoring what they've been asking for. You're not getting too close to them. You're not making them feel vulnerable and unwanted emotions, which is never the truth because nobody can make you feel a way. You are choosing to feel that way for some reason, but you're not engaging in that anymore. So this causes them to really start to look at things and realize like they have nothing here anymore, right? They can't sit there and use you as a crutch to make them feel good about continuing to be this avoidant and not doing anything about it. They really have to see it for what it is, and that is this avoidant attachment style has been running rampant in all of their relationships, and especially in this one, which is causing it to not work. So that's where there ends up being this emotional dynamic flip to where now they're confused about things. They don't know how to handle this, and they're really having to think about this on top of their feet. So because of this, there now ends up being this emotional dynamic flip to where they are the ones that is concerned about this, right? They don't know how to handle this. They don't know what to do next because everything has been calculated for them up to this point, right? They pull away. They expect that you're going to try to chase them in some way or some form, and then you're going to show them all this love and, commitment and care and all these different things that makes them feel good about being an avoidant and to feel like you're going to always be there for them, but you're not doing that anymore, and they don't know how to respond. So they kind of go into a fight or flight mode in the sense that they can't continue this avoidant attachment style, because if they do, they are in serious danger of losing you, right? Because you are detaching from them. So this will cause them to start to chase after you because you are not going to be the one to do the chasing anymore, which it always should be, right? You should no longer have to be the one that is putting up 100% effort into trying to make things work while this person is doing nothing. You are simply asking them to make changes gradually to essentially work on this so that you guys can have the relationship that you want and not have this attachment style that's continuously to run amok on the relationship itself. But they have to confront this themselves. They have to realize the magnitude of being this way and how it has had such a horrendous effect on you guys' relationship, which is going to lead to you guys no longer being in one. And this is something that you have to ask yourself here, because you don't know if this avoidant is actually going to ever get to that point, right? Because they could show some signs that they're scared and they're actually taking this seriously, and maybe they'll start to make steps, but are those steps because they want to make the change, or is it just because they want to make it seem like they're taking action so that you get reeled back in and they feel like things are back to the way that they are, and then you open up and express or try to get too close to them in their sense, and then they feel uncomfortable and they start this avoidance cycle all over again, and then you're right back where you are here. And this is something that you really have to ask yourself. And I know it's going to be hard to ask yourself this question, but it's so important that you do. And that is, do you want to continue to keep putting up with this? And whatever answer that comes up that is real and genuine to who you are, it's so important that you listen to that, because I know that you care about them. I know that you love them and you see that there's potential here, but that potential might always just be potential, and that's it. And you deserve somebody who's going to be willing to want to put energy and effort into making the relationship work, because they genuinely want to be there just as much as you do. And you will find that. But what's important for you right now is to figure out what you need to do and what is the next best thing for you. And whatever that might be, you need to have the courage to see it through, because you deserve it. You deserve somebody who's going to love and be committed to you just as you are to them, and you will find that. But right now, it's about prioritizing you and your healing journey. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.